girl who was only 12 at the time could be charged with murder of an older person. So yes, professionally, the first thought was, this is an extraordinarily big story. If found guilty, this is a serious part of history which may never be equalled.
In March 1997, Sharon Carr was sentenced to 14 years behind bars for killing Katie Ratcliffe. She is the youngest female murderer in British history.
Passing sentence, Mr. Justice Scott Baker told Carr, "It is clear that killing, in your words, turns you on. You are a very dangerous young woman." As Sharon Carr left the dock, she was smiling. She may spend the rest of her life behind bars.
Sharon Carr, his mother, was, I would say, obsessed, but she was part of the voodoo culture, and Sharon Carr grew up with a belief that this had power and that it could affect her life.
This obviously got through to Sharon because she did carry out some pretty horrific acts on animals.
By June 1992, at the age of 12, Sharon progressed from animals to humans. Her unsuspecting victim was 18-year-old hairdresser Katie Ratcliffe.
On June the 6th, 1992, Katie and her best friend went out to a nightclub in Camberley called Ragamuffins. Katie would never make it home. After the club closed, at some stage during the early hours, Katie crossed paths with a 12-year-old girl called Sharon Carr.
What happened next? The police have their own theory. Along comes a car. She has to get from there to Farnborough. It had to be a car.
Yeah.
She gets into a car, whether she's hitching a lift or she actually knows those inside. We have to assume that Carr was inside the car. The two girls had never met before. They were complete strangers. No connection at all. Mm-hmm. So who was driving the car? Not a 12-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. It had to be one, possibly two men in the car.
It was almost a Jack the Ripper sort of incident. We know what we feel about how barbaric that was.
Her parents were obviously devastated, and inquiries focused on the nightclub where Katie had been the night of her murder. It was Hampshire police who dealt with the investigation. It was a very thorough investigation, but nothing had suggested that a girl could have carried out this most horrific of murders. You just don't associate that with a woman, let alone with a child aged just 12. It's unthinkable.
Sharon Carr was reveling in the enjoyment of killing for the first time. Her diaries that were discovered at a later date revealed the euphoric sensation it had given her.
There were diary entries referring to KR, Katie Ratcliffe's initials obviously, in which she basically boasted about her involvement in the killing. She actually relished it.
Sharon continued to write her diary for the next 2 years.
As the years ticked by and Katie's killer was never found, Sharon would have gained in confidence. She would have began to think that she couldn't be caught, that she was immune, if you like. She'd carried out murder and got away with it. The idea of attacking another girl was certainly on the cards.
In 1994, on what turned out to be the second anniversary of Katie's murder, a female pupil at a comprehensive school in Camberley was stabbed almost fatally in the school toilets. Carr had lured her into the toilets, supposedly on the pretext that she had lost a £1 coin and wanted some help. Had 4 or 5 pupils not gone into the toilet at the time when Carr just stabbed her, she probably would have died.
Sharon's attack on Anne-Marie Clifford happened on June the 7th, 1994, 2 years after the murder of Katie. The significance of the date surely can't be written off as coincidence.
This time, there would be no escape for Sharon. She had been caught red-handed. Journalist Stephen Wright interviewed Anne-Marie Clifford about the life-threatening attack in March 1997.
She said very clearly that she looked up and Carr was standing over her with the knife, sort of juggling it from one hand to another.